In 2025, the surge in demand for illegal survival gear highlights a growing interest in items within legal gray areas. These include tools and equipment that exploit regulatory loopholes, potentially facing future bans. Preppers and survivalists are particularly keen on acquiring such gear, emphasizing the need for caution and thorough research due to varying laws.
The allure of forbidden survival gear taps into the forbidden fruit effect, intensifying desire for restricted items. Survivalists are drawn to edge case gear for perceived advantages in extreme scenarios, often navigating legal complexities. Scarcity enhances perceived value, urgency, and status within prepper communities, making these items more appealing than civilian alternatives.
Outdated legislation often fails to address modern survival gear innovations, creating legal gray areas. Jurisdictional conflicts further complicate enforcement, as federal, state, and local laws may differ. Clever marketing tactics label questionable items as novelty or emergency use, exploiting loopholes and providing manufacturers with plausible deniability regarding their intended use. Full-body MAPI protective suits, originally military grade for chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear defense, are now accessible online. Marketed as emergency preparedness or industrial use gear, they exploit regulatory loopholes. Import restrictions are hard to enforce on modified designs, allowing civilian access to protection levels close to military standards, bypassing outdated regulations.
Modern ballistic shields, crafted from advanced composite materials, withstand multiple high-caliber impacts. Initially for military and law enforcement, they now enter civilian markets due to regulatory gaps. Unlike body armor, shields aren't worn, avoiding classification restrictions. Online retailers capitalize on this, offering shields from $500 to $2,000 plus, with minimal verification requirements.
High-capacity pepper ball launchers bypass strict regulations on civilian pepper spray by exploiting definitional loopholes. Marketed as paintball markers or training devices, they are classified as less lethal rather than chemical weapons. Capable of firing 15-20 rounds per second, these launchers hold hundreds of pepper-filled projectiles, exceeding legal personal defense limits.
Armor-piercing crossbow bolts exploit regulatory gaps, bypassing strict firearm ammunition controls. Using advanced materials and specialized tips, they penetrate body armor. Marketed as hunting arrows, they avoid regulations on tactical gear. Unlike firearms, these bolts are sold online without background checks or purchase limits, with minimal age verification, posing significant safety concerns. High-powered laser pointers exceeding 5 milliwatts pose significant risks, yet are easily accessible online. Often labeled for scientific use or emergency signaling, these devices can ignite materials and blind pilots. Despite their potential for harm, they exploit regulatory gaps, with enforcement focusing on misuse rather than possession. Lockpicking tools, once exclusive to professionals, are now easily accessible online. Complete sets, including bump keys and rake picks, can defeat most locks quickly. While legal to own, using them without permission is criminal. Marketed as emergency kits, these tools exploit legal gray areas, often including practice locks to enhance their educational appeal. Automatic firearm conversion kits exploit regulatory gaps, marketed as airsoft or educational tools. Despite claims of non-functionality, these kits can be adapted for real firearms. Sold as training aids, parts collections, or replica components, the distinction between legal and illegal often hinges on intent and assembly, complicating regulation and enforcement. Concealed push daggers and belt knives are crafted for stealth and quick access. Push daggers fit between fingers, while belt knives masquerade as accessories. Despite their tactical design, they're marketed as survival tools to skirt legal restrictions. Online sales exploit state law inconsistencies, often bypassing verification, with enforcement lagging until incidental discovery. Unregulated body armor offers military-grade protection, with level 3 and 4 plates available to civilians online. Federal laws impose no restrictions, except for felons, and most states allow ownership. Some areas ban possession during crimes. Despite calls for regulation, body armor remains easily accessible, with minimal buyer verification required by online retailers.
Small-scale electromagnetic pulse devices, once military exclusive, are now accessible to civilians. Marketed as vehicle diagnostics tools, they avoid scrutiny while retaining disruptive capabilities. Legal ambiguity surrounds their possession, with few laws addressing civilian ownership. In survivalist circles, they're valued for disabling electronic tracking, providing a cover for their availability despite potential misuse. Tear gas grenades and canisters containing CS or CN gas are now accessible to civilians through surplus shops and online retailers. Marketed as collectibles or training aids, they exploit regulatory gaps despite being classified as chemical weapons in some contexts. Minimal verification is required for purchase, raising concerns about their potential misuse.
High-powered slingshots, crafted from aircraft-grade aluminum and equipped with surgical latex bands, can launch projectiles over 300 feet per second. These modern slingshots use steel ball bearings and tungsten slugs, transforming them into potent hunting tools. Despite their power, they remain largely unregulated, existing in a regulatory blind spot due to their classification as sporting equipment.
High-voltage stun batons and tasers are marketed beyond self-defense, often labeled as animal control devices or personal security tools. These devices, sometimes shipped from overseas, exceed legal voltage limits, exploiting regulatory gaps. The absence of national standards complicates legality, enabling retailers to distribute potent electrical weapons with little buyer verification. Modern tactical shovels feature concealed knife edges, serrated saw blades, and spear points, transforming them into multi-purpose weapons. Manufacturers market these as camping tools, sidestepping weapon restrictions. Legal loopholes exist, as concealed weapon laws often overlook tools with hidden offensive capabilities, allowing these shovels to bypass regulations applied to similar-sized fixed-blade weapons. Military-grade chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear masks and filters, accessible to civilians via surplus stores, offer superior protection compared to commercial respirators. Sold as industrial safety equipment or collectibles, these items bypass export restrictions. Although legal, their availability raises concerns about misuse in criminal activities, highlighting a regulatory gap in classification and enforcement.
Encrypted radios and burner phones, originally for military use, are now accessible to civilians. These devices offer secure, untraceable communication, often marketed as outdoor adventure tools. While generally legal to own, usage laws differ by state, with some requiring encryption key disclosure to law enforcement during specific activities.
The legal landscape for these devices is volatile. What is legal today might be banned tomorrow, risking severe criminal charges. Laws differ significantly across regions, and enforcement can shift unexpectedly. Penalties may include felonies, and legal ambiguities offer scant courtroom protection. Always research local laws before acquiring such items.